The way that you guys finished the first half, this homestand, this series?
Well, yeah, I mean, today we'd like to have gotten it, brought it home and felt really good about it, but I know I still feel really good. Good homestand, 6-4. If you go 6-4 over the course of every 10 games, you're going to win 96 games. So, really, really, really good baseball. A lot of good things took place. The offense really, including the base run, the offensive machine really coming into gear. Ran into a tough guy tonight, but created some opportunities for ourselves. Just couldn't get the proverbial big hit. But yeah, it was good baseball throughout the whole course of the homestand, and it's good momentum going into the break, and looking forward to the break after, getting ready to start after the break.
Well, noting your defense has been so good, pitching and defense has been your calling card, and today defense cost you a little bit there. What was your take on the first inning?
Gosh, man, humans showed up. We've been we've been first in fielding percentage since the 1st of June. Now we're in the middle of July. We've made 4 infield errors in 6 weeks. Louis is in the top 10. He's actually 8th in almost any defensive metric in all of Major League Baseball for first baseman in that time frame. Bogey's 9th. So we're playing excellent defense and didn't make a couple plays. They happen. But I'm really pleased with our defense in total. Our we don't beat ourselves, and it's been very, very, very good.
Nick today was, again, kind of just who he's been in the first half. What do you make of how important he's been for you guys, given kind of some of the questions you had in the rotation with you and Michael? And I know you're expecting maybe a fuller rotation in the second half, but how big was it for him to stabilize it?
Huge. It really was. You need the guys to be those pillars, anchors, aces, whatever superlative you want to use that, talks about, being a cornerstone of a starting rotation. The more you have of them, the better you are, the better. Our bullpen's been excellent, but the less you have to rely on, and you keep those guys fresh. And, Nick's been able to grab the baseball and, clearly do his part to not only keep us in games, but to win games. And he's been outstanding. I just went by him and told him, we all know, rightfully we got 5 guys headed the All-Star game, and he should be on that plane, but he's an all-star for us, and he's a big part of the reason we've had a successful, first half into the All-Star break.
Can you help us understand what the catchers bring to the team defensively? It's not so easy for outsiders to evaluate catching defense. It is easy for us to evaluate offensive stats, but defense can be pretty tough as a catcher.
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that question. The offense shows up, it's on the scoreboard. It's something that gets magnified, understandably, but if the catcher's going to get 3 or 4 at bats, as an example today, we faced 38 batters for the Phillies. The catcher had a stay in every single one of them, and I can confidently tell you that Maldi and Diaz have done a really good job. It's a hard job also, but shepherding, to AJ's question about, the starting rotation, Nick's done a great job, but we have had a lot of starts from guys that have done a really good job, in Bergert and Kolek and Vasquez. And those guys have been great, but they've also, been able to get help with some veteran catchers to get them through it, and I get a privilege to see it every night, and, the nuances of it and the preparation to it, the strategy going into a game, the awareness to make adjustments during the game, the ability to give guys confidence, the ability to make a trip and say the right things. Those catchers done a great job partnering with our pitching group. Ruben and Peter Somerville does our game planning, and Fritzy, our bullpen coach, along with our pitchers. They're a big reason why we sit there, and we have one of the best staffs with, a lot of new guys that have made their debuts this year, or young to this league, including some of the bullpen guys. Morgan was good today. Muto put a swing on him, but those catchers have been pretty pivotal in us having one of the better ERAs that stand against about anybody in the league. And I know ERA is not the only metric, but whether it's holds or saves, and we also have 3 all-stars in the bullpen that have earned their way, but it's a team award. Those guys get the bulk of the credit. Clearly, it's their talent, their preparation, their ability, but the catchers, they do their part. unsung heroes.
You had 2 punts today from two guys who like left on left. Obviously, it's a tough matchup. Were those called? Were those given to them as an option in that spot, or were those just kind of those guys doing it?
Yeah, those guys have options. I mean, the one thing that I'm confident works at its best when, and I say this internally a fair amount, but I can say it externally as well. You know, championship players think and do for themselves. You know, the one thing I don't have is a feel for an at bat, and you know, if a guy feels like, you know, this is the best thing, as Toddy always says, and it's just a magical phrase, do what the game calls for. And if the game calls for that moment and how you feel against that particular guy, a lot of times, you know, it's especially with Louis and Jackson left on left, game called for getting the bunt down. It actually led to our only run. So, and the freedom for them to do it similar to a hit and run. You know, I can sit there and strategize, which I do. I do put on bunts and I do, you know, put on hit and runs, and I do think for myself occasionally, but also give the freedom for the guys to go play the game what they see.
And you kind of touched on it earlier, but what are your thoughts just overall on this first half of the season, and what do you want to see moving forward in the second half?
More of the same with this homestand. You know, we really, I've alluded to the pitching. You know, we've really done a nice job with our pitching and catching, as we talked about, has been a part of that. It's a really synced up unit, the bullpen, the starters, the catchers, the pitching group as a whole with the staff. Such a real strength of the club. We expect that only to continue. Again, to AJ's point, you know, Darvish is trending back, and, you know, Michael's chomping at the bit, literally. So, you know, we feel good about that. Alluded to the defense, you know, I mean, listen, we play really good defense. We also play, you know, smart defense. We throw the right base. We, you know, hit the cutoff man. We do a lot of things really well. We catch the baseball. We make the outs. You know, super high percentage of the time. Like I said, a 994 leading the league in fielding percentage, which still matters to me at least in the last, you know, since June 1st. So continue to catch the ball. Continue to play that good team defense. You know, we've done a nice job of holding runners with our pitchers. You know, we give up some bags, some guys earn them, but we don't give away a whole lot there. We hold runners pretty well. Our catchers throw, so the league has to honor it. They got to earn it. They're going to get a bag. So we're one of the better teams to not give anything free on the bases in that regard. So that's a win. You know, and then the base running is, you know, it goes hand in hand with the offense. You know, you got to be able to create some opportunities. The bunting's come into play, which I'm excited about. I mean, the league average going into this series was 513 for bunts, bunting for a hit. League bunts for a hit at 513 clip, up from 499 last year in total in 2024. So we're using all facets of the game is my point. The you know, base running again has been on display. The first and thirds have been outstanding. We're in the top 5 in that category. One of the top 5 teams, and second to homes. You know, first to top 10 and first to home on doubles. You know, we're second in the league in reading balls in the dirt. So we do a lot of really good things, and win on the margins is what this is all about. And then the last one that I'm really optimistic about, you know, we've been able to put ourselves in I think in a good position relative to, you know, and again, just the fact we've had, you know, Jackson missed a month, missed another week, Crony missed a month. You know, we mentioned the starting pitch, and we've really had some, like most teams. I mean, you know, like most teams. I mean, I know I'm just stating fact. I mean, but it also indicates that we do find solutions, and that's what winners do. And then the offense the last week has really created their identity. You know, it reestablished it rather, because we have an identity, and the bats have been fantastic. We've been very stubborn in the zone. The walks have gone up. The contact's gone up. We also have hit a lot of balls at people that, you know, I can't explain why that happens occasionally. You go through ruts where you're just barreling balls at people. But the bat quality is really high. So you put all together, and it speaks to a positive first half and a very favorable and exciting second half.
Mike, if I could ask a little, when I used to cover, they didn't have these technologies that simulated what a pitcher can throw so well. I don't know what it's like in the batting cage. I asked because the preparation today for that guy's changeup, which is elite, I don't know what guys were hitting 135 this year. How do you guys go about preparing for that thing, particularly Campusano, who hasn't been facing anything like that in AAA, I bet?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the one thing, just philosophical baseball question is, we do have what's called a traject machine that we can simulate that, and guys do use it. I have a personal opinion that the changeup's the best pitch in baseball because it's the only pitch that you really can't replicate. You can replicate spin, you can replicate a fastball, you can replicate movement on a slider or sinker, and on all those things. You can't replicate a changeup off a machine or an arm. And this guy's got one of those changeup that literally could be like, and I think we do in some cases. I'm throwing a changeup. It's like the Rivera cutter. Certain guys have these 80 pitches that, can basically just outlier pitches. And, that being said, we got to continue to figure out a way to have that even better approach, and figure out a way to, get it done. But it's not an easy contest.
Pretty tough to evaluate Luis today, having to deal with that, because the guy kept throwing the changeup.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, it's the big league, so, I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, it's a tough draw, but, there's tough draws in this league, so I'm not sure how to answer that one.